In this lecture, we're going to talk about networks. A network or communications network is nothing more than the combination of hardware and software that are connected together for the sole purpose of transporting data. The main reason that you have a network is to share resources, whether it be hardware or software or just files that you need to have multiple folks working on. The bottom line is that a network is required when you share those resources. The most common type of network that we have today is what we call an Ethernet network, and this is actually an idea that was conceived by Bob Metcalfe in 1976, and it is a way to transfer that information between computers, and it is pretty much the backbone for the internet today. A computer is said to be on a network if it can access or see or share something with another computer. A lot of times you might have networks in your home. This day and time, with lots of folks having laptops, if you have a wireless router in your home, you actually have a network set up. The ability to share networked hardware pretty much reduces the cost of operating a particular business and or expanding the access to data. If you purchase networking software or a license for software that's network version, it actually is cheaper than purchasing it for the, say, 25 computers, and it allows folks to work together in collaboration. There are some disadvantages of a network. One of the big problems that you have and you hear about on the news and so forth is dealing with unauthorized access to a network. And it's also susceptible to somebody putting malicious code in or a virus that can work its way through each of the computers connected. By and large, the advantages far outweigh any disadvantages of having a computer network. Think of a network as a great big huge spider web. Every one of the points in that particular web we consider a node. Any device we hook to a network, whether it be a computer or a printer or a server, we call that a node. A server is a computer that is specialized and it's set up to distribute resources to all those computers hooked to that network. For example, if you have a server and you are working on a booklet with several folks in your organization and that file is shared, or saved on that server, it is physically on one computer that's hooked up to that network that everybody can access. We classify our networks according to their size and geographic structure. The smallest network that you might have is what we call a personal area network. Next comes a LAN, or a local area network. If you go into a computer lab here on campus, what you are looking at in that situation is a LAN. A neighborhood area network would be the network here on the college campus. A metropolitan area network would be similar to what you're starting to see pop up in certain areas in the country where entire cities are hooked up to one network. Your wide area network would be, let's say you have a company in Los Angeles and New York, and their computers at both locations are networked together. That would be a wide area network. We have a couple of types of networks. The first is a client server, and a client server network has a server computer like you see here, and each individual workstation is connected to it, and it gets its information and its resources from the server. So if it wants to talk, if client A wants to talk to client B, it's actually going to go through the server to get to it. We have several types of servers. One is an application server, and this is one that runs software and distributes it out to your local computers. Another server is a file server, and its sole purpose is storing files and letting folks access them remotely. A print server is a specialized server that handles all the jobs that are sent to a printer on a client server network. And a workstation, that is each of the individual computers that hook into that server. Typically it's just a regular old notebook or personal computer. A peer-to-peer structure is pretty much the most common in your home. your workstations actually serve as both the client and the server, so it is possible to go from A to B without having to go through that server. Networks, there are several different hardware network devices that have to be in place for a network. Modems, network interface cards, hubs, switches, routers, gateways, bridges. All of these are hardware devices that have a specific purpose within a network. A modem converts digital signals into something that can travel over the network. So it takes the actual data and converts it. Your network interface card is a specialized card, typically in it's a peripheral card in the back of your computer that allows the computer itself to hook into the network. An Ethernet card is just another name for a NIC or a network interface card, specifically for an Ethernet network.